and my dreams continue. So this dream I actually had maybe 6 months ago, and it was a very cool dream. Scary, but at the end very cool. So I saw in the dream cities and neighborhoods, and in the cities the buildings were covered with some black stuff, and it seemed like they were crawling around, so it looked like they were little critters, like little insects. And the houses too, everything was covered with like insects. And as I see more buildings and houses, I noticed they're like kind of like termites, and they're eating the buildings and the houses. And it's just very strange, you know that. And I'm like starting to see that the buildings start to sound, like they start to crack, and then you start hearing like an earthquake almost, and then the buildings start to collapse, and that's where I begin to see people panicking. They're hearing the sounds of the cracking and the rumbling, and then they start running and screaming. And so this is what I'm seeing. Buildings covered with termites, or these black insects, and then eventually they start rumbling, and then they start cracking, and then they start falling to the ground, people running. But then I looked to the side where I saw there was an area where nothing was falling or nothing was covered with these insects. But then what was so cool was that I looked over and I see Jesus sitting down, like at a bench or something. And I can never see his face. I only see his white robe, and I see his hands, and I see his feet, and he's got no shoes on. And I could almost see his face, but not really. And he's sitting there, and nothing is falling, nothing is covered with anything. Everything is safe. So of course I ran there and I started waving people over. And so those that chose to run to Jesus were safe. That was the dream. Anyways, come to the Lord, repent, ask for forgiveness, surrender, and the Lord is merciful, and He will take you.